No catchphrase.
No catchphrase. I usually have an opening. I don't have one. Anyway, damn it, I'm tired. I'm still going to get the people what they want. Why? Because I look at all things wrestling. Hello once again, folks. This is a first for the ATW fam, because you know what this is, because we're once again being impromptu with another ATW view after the biggest event in wrestling history has concluded, and a lot of other emotional stuff has been prior to. I'm not using the catchphrase tonight. I'm not using an opener. I'm just going right into it. Tonight it's just me and the King. We're just going to shoot the breeze. We're going to honor some folks. We're going to talk about our thoughts about All In, and then look towards All Out and maybe get some thoughts towards that as well. And then bid y'all find a do, hopefully under the hour too, because I know we are tired as heck, but we're crazy, so we decided to do this anyways. After that, also very interesting, International Championship main event. Well, King, good to see you. Again, we are literally 7 days removed since we last did this, and it's just the original two, the All Elite Duo, since day 0. But again, shout out to the entire AEW fam. How you feeling, man? Good grief.
Good, man. Good grief indeed. After a Sunday, 81,035 people in London and Wembley cheering their hearts out, and seeing that atmosphere was just so incredible. And then all of a sudden, we have to turn around and we do this again. But we love this because basically Tony's a madman for doing All In and All Out in 2 different weeks. And now we get the repeat of this next year too. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, yeah. So without further ado, again, folks, I'm not going to freaking just talk out my rear end like I always built this thing up. I'm just going on this with a truly simple plan. Let's just get right into it. So, yeah, since we have last been here, let's go ahead and just go right down the order. As we know, we lost 2 all-time greats of the industry and also an all-time great in the entertainment industry, R.I.P. Bob Barker. We lost the hardcore legendary Funk, but I feel more connected to us, this generation, one of the most creative minds we ever got to see and witness in one, Winter Rotunda, Bray Wyatt. Now, that hit me because I lost my father to a heart attack, and I still think heart disease is the #1 cause of death at this day in this country, particularly. So, again, not to be super, emotional because we are basically removed. And to be fair, tonight, as I record this, 10:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Wednesday, August 30th, we know that most of the AEW roster, despite Mother Nature being a freaking annoying, fickle mistress, more than Tony Storm, talk more about that here in a moment. Sorry, not sorry. We know that everybody went out on Friday Night SmackDown, at Impact, even AEW, and honored Bray Wyatt. Now, me and the FTW, lead James, and of course the entire Jeff Beecham Network with the rest of media, we went in deep on this. To the point we even covered as a special live watch event the very SmackDown Live special that honored both of those great men tremendously, might I add. WWE, you show humility. I have nothing but respect for that. I went back this earlier today and watched the post-tribute message given by everybody, including, I can't tell that was Savannah or JoJo singing at the end, but damn it, that broke me. But that slowly being said, King, what are some of your fondest memories, matches, moments of Bray Wyatt? And what was your first interpretation when you heard the news?
Well, let's start off with the fondness of the first reaction. I was just on my way from work, like on my way home from work, and I get this tweet on my phone, and it was from Triple H, and I was like, okay, this must something big happen, what and whatnot. Because if you have Triple H tweeting first before anybody else in the wrestling community that's a journalist, so that means something big is about to happen, right?
Fair enough.
So with my initial reaction, I was like, okay, something big about to happen. Then I opened Twitter. I'm like, someone check his account. Did it get hacked? Seriously, no. Did it get hacked? Because no. No. Not when I'm about to get ready to watch some Ring of Honor. You're not doing this to me. You're not. You're really not. Were we just coming off a hardcore legend, a hardcore icon, and Terry Funk, and then all of a sudden, this? Bray? One of the most creative minds in this generation of wrestling, bar none. Here's a man who went Husky in the Nexus, and then he evolved to being the Bray that we respect him for and we admire, and then evolved that character to its layers of storytelling. with the Wyatt family, and then him being solo, which the Elimination Chamber, I will never forget that 6-man where Bray pinned Cena to start off the match. I was like, wow, y'all really going to put the rocket strap to Bray. And then we had the fight, we had the closing moments with AJ Styles and Bray Wyatt when AJ went up for a phenomenal forearm, but Bray caught him into his sister Abigail. And then the following night, before that night happened, I couldn't help but stand up on my feet and applaud that because Bray is a gem. One of those gems of wrestling to where he's ahead of its time creatively. Creative mind for the business that basically I respect for and I admire for because he could make movies with the way how his creative mind is. He could make movies if he wanted to.
Damn right.
Like, and then the following, and then that night on SmackDown, where he said, "I got the whole world in my hands now." I said, "You darn right. You are exactly right because you, sir, are the WWE champion." Which you should have done Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, and Randy Orton at WrestleMania. That was a missed opportunity. I'm just saying. You could have done a triple threat for that title. Just saying.
You're not wrong. Anyway.
But he evolved that. Took a hiatus. He evolved to the Firefly Funhouse, Mr. Rogers, into the Fiend, which that's when I was like, okay. Y'all got to get him a director role or something because this man's creativity is out of this world.
Right?
Like, you had Mercy the Buzzard. You had the rabbit. What was the rabbit's name again? I forgot. What was it? What was the name?
Abby the Witch, Husky.
Thank you, Braylon. Shout out to Braylon back here. Let me for giving me the idea. Shout out to Braylon, my little brother. Rambling Rabbit. That's who it was. Thank you, Buff. Appreciate you.
Get killed off more than Kenny from South Park.
Right.
You know.
Yep. And then we had Abby the Witch. Let's not forget about Abby the Witch. She had her off moment. She had her uncensored moments too. And then we had them where it broke Casey one time with the war with Paul Warris. And
oh my
shout out to our preacher man Casey Flynn. Shout out to our preacher man.
Yes, and of course he still loves Dakota Kai and follows the podcast now with her and Selena Vega. Anyway, continue.
But also we have yes, I'll stay safe, brother, always, yes. And that evolved with Mr. McMahon being a puppet because that's such good.
Yeah. If it did put him on the shelf.
And then the Firefly Funhouse match at WrestleMania 36 with the pandemic, which that was his most creative at its finest. Take a cinematic match like that and you break it down storytelling with John Cena and all the layers of his career of what he went through. And basically the future storytelling of, fans started to predict whether if he was to join the NWO, what if he would have turned heel, started a new NWO, and then backtrack all that, we had Short Trunk Cena and when Bray said, we're leaving in your embarrassment right now. I'm pretty sad for you. And then he bust out the whole Bella Twins. You can that
was pretty hilarious.
And then he came, and then we all know what happened. Years later, he got 2 words budget cut it because Vince and the rest of corporate structure decided to do budget cuts. And then Triple H brought him back at Extreme Rules. And then as soon as I heard that whole Philly crowd saying, he's got the over in his hands, I was like, oh, snap. He really is back, ain't he? And I see every member of that Wyatt 6 that he always alludes to out there in the crowd. And then we see the door open with the Brody Lee shining light off that promo when he first came into AEW. That was a nice touch on his part, by the way. And when he came in, I was like, yep, we're about to get ready for another layer of creativity with this man. And then when I heard those words, let me in, and then run. I was like, yep, here we go. Here we go. With some Bray Wyatt madness I love to enjoy. But then, and then here came LA Knight. Yeah. In which, I'm just going to say for the record, very cool concept. Just the match, how it was done. Not really a big
poor
fan of.
execution, I think is the word you're looking for.
Thank you, my simple man brother. Thank you. Poor execution. Very good concept, though. With Pitch Black and then Bray entering another Ultraverse that I don't think I've ever seen before with the lights and the paint and everything. I'm like, this ain't The Fiend. This ain't this.
This is heartfelt Bray, where you find his most vulnerable, apparently his most dangerous when he accepts, yes, I am Bray Wyatt. I am evil. Again, the layers to his creativity, to his emotional draw for us, to the way that he pontificated, preached, or just literally fed into us with everything he said or did. Mm-hmm. And then Uncle Howdy missed the mark by 5 miles.
Yeah. Nice try on his part, but if they still want to continue Wyatt's legacy, have Bo Dallas still be continued to Uncle Howdy. I mean, that'd be a nice way to
spoiler, by the way, folks. Uncle Howdy was Bo Dallas.
Yep. So, and what really, kind of gets my gears a little bit, but not in a bad way, more in a sad way, was that the fact that even Sean Ross Sapp reported, even though he's been the one to stay on track with this, what Bray Wyatt was the one on top of it when it comes to everything Bray Wyatt related. He was always the one on top of it, saying that Bray was on his way back, and WWE was getting ready to clear him after a COVID exuberated heart. They was getting ready to clear him, and all of a sudden,
yes,
that light went out. And that's when I was like I said, for my first initial reaction, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know. I cried, dude. I ain't gonna lie to you. I cried.
Hey man, that's fair. I mean, that's what it means to be humble. That's what it means to show emotions. That's what it means to show humility. And I do think, like Brody Lee tribute, for at least 2 hours, the world was able to do that. It's one of those things where you put your bias, objective, sometimes tribalistic nature behind you and realize at the end of the day, we're all human. And what you see on TV isn't necessarily what you know behind the scenes. We don't work for the business. We just explore it and invest in it. And at the end of the day, if there's one thing people should relate to, it's a family man, it's a father. Whether you have one or not, or lost in similar circumstances. That hit me hard, man. And like I said, I was humbled to share that emotion with many others, including you and the ATW crew and FTW, WWE Network, everybody that was a fan of Winter Rotunda in some capacity, or just knew the man too, as well. There's a reason why I made this collage, like I said before. So in closing, I just want to definitely get your thoughts, but yeah. Winter Rotunda's legacy, his creativity will always be unmatched. It will go on forever. Countless people he have touched in and out of the wrestling industry. My prayers, love, and condolences to JoJo and his daughter. Thank you, Bray Wyatt. Forever, we are Fireflies, and you truly do have the world in your hands. It's just now below you because you are above us, forever exalted in heaven with Brody Lee. That one picture someone gave, I think it was Sportskeeda, where there's the chair, there's Brody Lee behind it, and then there's Bray coming towards it. I was like, yep, he was let in, he was brought back. What a freaking turbulent event that was.
As I like to call it, with Brody Lee and Bray Wyatt, heaven's greatest tag team.
Yeah, bar none, undisputed tag team champions for eternity. Very point blank simple. Thank you, Bray. All right, as we move on a little bit from there, again, Terry Funk, hardcore legend, Mick Foley. I mean, again, he was the guy that inspired death matches. Hell, he survived death matches with this guy exploding, by the way, Steve 4 barbed wire death matches. If y'all choose to watch that, please, if you're squeamish, avoid. Of course, the deathmatch legend, even Onita, talked about Terry Funk. I believe competed against him too. So that just goes to show how far this original innovator of our core, before Abyss, before freaking Sami Callihan, before John Moxley, before Jun Kasai, before El Desperado, who's getting to love these matches, you crazy freaking madman, before Nick freaking Gage, before GCW even existed.
Yep.
Terry Funk was that wild, deranged cowboy that truly brought the in cowboy to a whole nother level, besides the Texas Death Match we saw this year at Revolution. So, but again, I didn't grow up a lot in the whole Terry Funk generation of wrestling because, again, the original ECW, it was kind of, do I flip to that or do I watch WWF or WCW? My family was WWF at the time, but I was aware of WCW, and then I learned about ECW's existence, and then they screwed the pooch in 2006 trying to recreate it. Not that we're
let's not talk. We're not.
So anyway, yeah. And of course, Terry Funk, I mean, one of the biggest moments I remember when Undertaker choked some out of his sneakers at King of the Ring 1998 when Mankind was fought for dead after going through the roof of the cell. So, just saying. Do you have any fond memories of Terry Funk, King?
Oh, man. Fond memories, man.
Maybe fond memories isn't the right word.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, fond? I can tell you hardcore moments, but
right.
But let's go Attitude Era around 97, 98, maybe even 99-ish, but basically 99, 98, 99-ish. When Terry Funk decided to bring out his alter ego, when I first got into watching Terry Funk was Chainsaw Charlie.
Oh God.
In the Attitude Era, as a 4 to 5 year old King Anthony was watching Chainsaw Charlie, and then I lo and behold know as like the more I grow up in this life, that was Terry Funk. Now, I was aware of ECW as well. Like in this house, my uncle got me into WWF, WCW. I somehow ran into ECW on my own. So, but mostly my uncle got me into WWF and WCW on his behalf, and then I got into ECW on my own as a kid because I was wanting to, explore more wrestling as a young Anthony, and I did that, and that's how I knew of, the history of ECW when it came to the Sabu's, and the Terry Funks, and the Cactus Jacks, and the RVDs, the Tommy Dreamers, Sandmans. We can keep going on and on if we wanted to, but But Terry Funk, always will always be forever a hardcore staple, a hardcore legend, a hardcore icon. And no matter what, he stamped the hardcore wrestling to what it is today, the pioneers, trailblazers of what he is. And long leg Funk, always. As we saw what CM Punk doing a spinning toe hold and All In against Samoa Joe.
We're talking about here in a moment. Yeah, it's just crazy though. Like again, all of a sudden, like life truly is a vapor, as JR says. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. As I always try to encourage, treasure your families. It's just really crazy to think about what events we face externally as reactive individuals versus those that are directly impacted as the connected family members or followers. It's just really crazy when you think about what you see in life versus what you learn about in life versus how you look at life. And it's these type of events that really bring it back to fruition. I have this struggle. I have that struggle. This guy's a dick, blah, blah, blah. But these people no longer exist in families' lives, and we're complaining about minimalistic things. It does put life into perspective, to say the least. Even as wrestling fans, which, again, the wrestling community is so damn off the rails, 256 different ways that aren't freaking on the freaking horizontal. It is something to behold, to say the least, when it finally goes to ground zero for a moment.
Neutral.
But that being said, again, thank you, Terry Funk, and RIP Bray Wyatt, both of you, for everything you've done, and nothing but love, prayers, condolences to the family. And again, folks, really just try once in a while, just like Dynamite kind of tonight, to appreciate wrestling in the fandom or in what it brings us to entertainment. However you look at it, casual, hardcore, first timer, long standing, you name it. Again, I'm just a simple man in life. I'm fan of professional wrestling. Damn it, looks at all things wrestling. So there you go. Speaking of all things wrestling, here's a little bit of a wrestling highlight for you before we talk about this past weekend's festivities, because Jesus Christ, a lot happened this past week. As the 5-star Grand Prix continues, Julia once again fell short to Mirai for the second year in a row. Mirai, who still has, of course, the white belt after claiming it off of Tem Nakano earlier this year. Micah right now for me might be the front runner to be one of my favorites to win this year. I know Julia won last year, so I feel like it might be Micah's time, especially after her and Utami Hayashita shared sucky shots following their match. Suzu Suzuki is still fucking insane, but I love her wrestling, and I think that she should definitely go after Julia once again. And I'm curious to see who will challenge the AEW Strong Women's Overweight Champion here very soon. So we'll have to see what's ahead there. In other news, WWE, of course, we're on the road to Payback. We're on the road to All Out. And we saw last week on Friday Night SmackDown, they continue to tease the idea of Austin Theory versus Rey Mysterio, which has been official. The rematch for the United States Championship. And the Street Profits had a undermining hardcore, but again, it's WWE, it's PG, state laws, blah, blah, blah. Still, yeah. The Street Profits continue this new identity change under one almighty Bobby Lashley. Hurt Business 2.0. Will they actually get profits from it? I guess that still remains to be seen. And LA Knight, still super over, as everyone would expect. Nice solid tribute by Becky Lynch to Bray Wyatt in the Falls Count Anywhere match against Zoe Stark. And of course, in NXT, not my NXT, the Creed Brothers are back to stay, being the Dyad and Steel Cage match. And basically, NXT right now is doing their own version of, get this, a G1 Climax with the Heritage Cup Global Invitation to see who will challenge Nolan Dar for his Heritage Cup at NXT No Mercy, including the return of one Butch Pete Dunne to NXT. In other news, there is a now heel versus heel dynamic for the NXT Women's Championship. As Kiana James won the fatal 4-way and will challenge Timmy Strand for the title. And what feels like something out of a high school sitcom drama or movie, you tell me, maybe Disney-esque. Thea Hale is hanging out with the toxic influencer, Jesse James. So take that for what you will. And that's just some of the stuff going on here in wrestling as we get into the weekend. And again, the weekend was quite interesting. Camille successfully retained her NWA World Women's Championship against Natalia Markova. Sorry, James. And there are definitely some more history made across the NWA 75, which we'll get more into, as Pretty Empowered went all or nothing in their last chance for the NWA Women's Tag Team Championships and beat Missy Kate and Maddie Wazowski for those titles. We'll talk about night 2 when we get through the other things that happened on night 2, as again, this past weekend, I'm going to try this one more time, and then I'm not saying it again until I do the simple take with JJ. Stay tuned for that, folks. It'll be a simple double take next week on both All In and All Out. Let me see if I can get my voice together, because, ladies and gentlemen, professional wrestling fans, all elite enthusiasts of all ages, truly, this past weekend, we witnessed, simply put, the biggest event in wrestling history, damn it! But I digress. Oh, God, that really killed my voice reports. As we had AEW All in London in Wembley Stadium in front of over 81,000 people. It was truly a magical, historical, wonderful, wild-ass spectacle of a worldwide phenomenon that AEW achieved within, yet again, their young age, being a little over 4 years existing in the industry. I think Tranquilo Club put it best. What AEW did ushers in hope, ushers in promise, progress, potential, that you don't have to go just to one company to get to a grander stage. With AEW able to hold this and going to do it again next year. Now, will they achieve the same feat? Only time will tell. But it does show that AEW and professional wrestling is sought after beyond the domestic market. And pursuing a bigger venue sometimes could be a great challenge, but could lead to beautiful accomplishment. Now, that being put, we could be here all night talking about this card, but I don't think that's what we do here on the ATW View. Last I checked, we just highlight and discuss stuff too. So let's just ... dive right into it. King, we witnessed history. We witnessed AEW All Out London in Wembley. I got to call that shit in its entirety. Thank you, Jeff Meacham. And stay tuned, folks, for whatever else they're going to use my voice for, as long as I live and breathe. King, what was your overall takeaway in general from AEW All in London in Wembley Stadium?
We're going to go positive here before I get to negative. Positive of this, the positive with this is that, what more can I say of what you just touched on? Like I said on our ATW View last week, you don't got to love them. You don't got to hate them. But you got to respect this company. This company, a little over 4 years, has done numbers that very quickly that hasn't been done before. Like, it has been done before in wrestling promotions, but it hasn't been done this quick, like AEW has. What we saw was a spectacle. What we saw was history. What we saw was a wrestling event that was, I believe, and I said this on I even put this on my Twitter on Sunday. All In beats out Forbidden Door 2 like this much. This much right here. Because of how that UK crowd carried it. Sure, do we have a lackluster build to get to this? Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. You can say yes, you can say no. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But when it came to Showtime, oh boy, did it deliver it on its high expectations and then some.
Jesus Christ.
My goodness, if that does not get you excited for anything as AEW or anything professional wrestling wise, I don't know what to tell you. Because basically, I don't think I've ever rewatched a pay-per-view like that since Forbidden Door 2, if I'm being quite honest with you. I was watching it back before we did our Dynamite watch-along. That's how much that shows that pay-per-view was ungodly.
I think Tequila Club used the single perfect word for it. Legendary. But continue.
And the negative. The only negative I have about this is one worded question.
Yes.
Why? Why did you have to put the title on Saraya when she rarely done singles matches? Why did you put the title on her? I get it. You wanted to do it in front of the UK crowd. That's a business move. I mean, to be honest, though, Will Ospreay should have been the only Britain United Kingdom wrestler that ever should have got that win. That win should have not belonged to Saraya at all because I felt like Sheeta got screwed. Because, yes, Sheeta did get her moment of defending that AEW Women's World Championship in front of 81,035 people in London, in Wembley. That I will give her and always will respect. But I feel like Sheeta got screwed because they wanted to give that moment to Saraya. In which, why do I ask? Why? Because basically,
Simon Miller was there as a security guard, by the way. How fitting.
Here's why. Because basically Saraya is a country woman. She's from England. We get that. Which Tony, you had Saraya come out to Queens. We Will Rock You, but you didn't book Emi Sakura for the 0 hour, and she's the biggest Queen Freddie Mercury fan that you have on this roster. But that's a different topic for a different day. Which by the way, you only have one women's match booked again. We're going to talk more about that later.
Agree, but continue because yes.
But we'll see where this goes. We'll see where this goes with the title reign. I have a feeling it's not going to be a good one. And I hate to put the disrespect on Saraya like that because she has wrestled only a few single matches. She's mostly been in tag or trios. So putting the title on her doesn't make no sense of this whole equation whatsoever. Sheeta needs to get back that AEW Women's World Championship. Or if you really want to go the long haul with this, which I hope you don't, You wait for Jamie to come back in February and then have her take it off.
Please. I'm a hater. I really want her to have the moment. And when I heard that someone told me they had custom made figures of Jamie Hayter for all, and I was like, God bless it.
And she had big plans too. Big plans.
Among others, but again, injuries is the nature of the beast of the industry. But I digress. Continue.
But that's the only negative takeaway I have with is that Saraya winning the AEW Women's World. Good match, wrong winner.
All right, fair enough. So let's go ahead and just put you on the spot. What was your match of the night?
Match of the night. Here we go. This is why I feel like I'm on the hot seat right here. Oh boy.
Good luck, bro.
As much as I like my Elite Boys, as much as I like my Bullet Club Gold, neither of those fit match of the night for me. That moniker is going to go to Jericho and Ospreay. It really is, because Jericho, as much as character-wise, he's been sloping up and down a little bit. But when it comes down to the big stage, when it comes down to the big matches, when it comes down to the big moments, he ain't been in business for 30 years for no reason. And plus, Will Ospreay's entrance, I'm glad B-Mac pointed this out to me and a few others on Twitter. Did you not notice how his entrance got more of that big Phil type of entrance? Oh, yeah. Not only was it because of, being in his home country of England, but that tells me that somebody is getting ready to be possibly all elite here pretty soon in 6 months when his New Japan contract runs out.
Possibly.
Because he had the piano feel. He had that piano feel like Phil, which that's only rare in wrestling. Roman, he got his at WrestleMania 39. And also the red, the white, the blue, the English, the Britain colors, and of course they brought Elevated, and plus that big fight feel with Elevated playing in front of 81,000 people. That had that big fight feel, and it told me right there that somebody is getting ready to transition into here in AEW pretty soon. Even though he has publicly said he doesn't want to live in the States, which I don't blame you. I really don't blame you for not wanting to live here in the States. I don't blame you.
I don't blame you.
So, if he is getting ready to be all elite pretty soon, that entrance right there proved it all. Because Tony Khan even basically said he likes Will Ospreay. You can just basically tell.
But
other than that, Other than that, though, that was my match of the night because of how these two brought it. And I mean, when the match was first made, with how it was set up, I even told you this. I said the way he said assassinated, I was like, bingo. That's how we're going to bring Will in. And then the following week, the go home week, that promo sold me everything between Jericho and Ospreay. And when it came bell time, they delivered on the high. I had them right here on a medium to high expectation. They skyrocketed past that. They skyrocketed past that. Sure did. But honorable mention goes to my Bucks and FTR because what have I always said about the AEW's tag team division and its matches? And it's always on lockdown. That trilogy gave us what we needed to solidify once again of tag team wrestling matters in not only in AEW and also in professional wrestling.
Damn it. Yeah, I mean, again, well said. By the way, I'm also going to say this. That's how you do a pre-show, by the way, too. Not only did it have action, it actually built towards the next pay-per-view, and you had special appearances from people that actually were wrestlers and people actually gave a damn about. Not some random figureheads from the world of mainstream entertainment that don't give a shit about. All right? I mean, Grado. That name in a long damn time. And how fitting he finally gets his little bit of revenge against friggin' Jarrett after what happened with him back in ICW. Yes, I still hate Jeff Jarrett. All I respect the Jarrett name, Generations, Legacy, Booker, blah, blah, blah. He played a part in also this happening, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't mean I have to like the guy. Screw Jeff Jarrett and his wife. And I've already said my piece about that privately. Yep. That will never be seen on the internet, courtesy of ATW All Elite streams. Ha! You didn't record the audio correctly. Botch.
But anyways, the reason Grado, I finally got the reason why Grado didn't come out to Madonna. Money, because the song was too expensive. Tony couldn't pay it.
About to say, he even said himself, he'll be lucky to do Europe one more time after what he probably used for it at freaking Forbidden Door 2. And to go with your point, again, before Forbidden Door 2, I was constantly rewatching AEW Revolution. Because I'll be honest, AEW Nothing was hit or miss for me a little bit, particularly with the Jamie Hayter incident. Damn it.
Yep.
And then Forbidden Door came along, and why that women's singles match was a double-edged sword, it still was a very compelling match. But Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada, Bryan Danielson, you took my money. Ayo. And then you gave me a whole damn match card and a pre-show to boot. The fact that the story really kicked off with Ozzy Open losing
I did not have that. In the predictions league, I did not have that. I had
me neither. Damn it. And then, of course, you had Samoa Joe and CM Punk redefine their legacy. ROH brought to the grand stage. Samoa Joe competing in a stage. Is it me, or is that the happiest I've ever seen Samoa Joe actually wrestle his style?
Well, let's see here. Got booted from the WWE twice. And, it's the happiest I've seen Joe been.
In a stadium, by the way. Samoa Joe's first ever stadium.
And he led an Ole chant.
I'm just saying. Yes, I know he competed at WrestleMania 35 for 90 seconds. Woohoo.
Yeah,
and half the people were asleep during that time. Facts are facts, folks. And this match was fucking ridiculous. Pepsi plunge. What the fuck? I did not expect to see that.
I was expecting a GTS to finish with a Pepsi plunge off the turnbuckle. That was not in my match expectations at all.
That match exceeded my expectations. Wow. And then, like you said, the trios match with Bullet Club Gold versus the Golden Elite. Kota Ibushi got knocked the fuck out by Kateska. And Kateska getting the win on Omega. And it was roll up. I'm still just saying.
Snuck one in.
Sometimes that's all you got to do, bro. It takes 3 seconds. FTR, the Young Bucks, went through the entire Rolodex of previous tag team wrestling encounters and tag team wrestling greats until it was a springboard, counterintuitive shadow machine that put your Bucks away after the Bucks used the friggin' FTR trick themselves and you thought they nearly had the win. That, to me, was one of the greatest tag team titles of all time. And we've seen the Young Bucks versus Kenny Omega and freaking Heyman Page. We've seen FTR versus the Briscoes trilogy. We've seen the Revival versus the DIY trilogy. Mm-hmm. You just saw the culmination of FTR versus the Young Bucks trilogy. That might be FTR's greatest work today. And they just got done recently competing against Bullet Club Gold in a 58-minute TV classic. Good God almighty, that was fucking incredible. And I'm so glad, because personally for me, FTR deserved the win, all right? They just started the run. It just felt like for me right now, the Young Bucks didn't need the stress, but it was nice to see the Bucks at their best strength. They are a tag team. Their strongest as tag team on their own without others. That's their best presentation. Despite the fact people think Super Kiss is still highly overrated, but that's a whole different thing because finishers nowadays, what's a finisher versus a signature? I'm just saying. But yeah, what FTR and the Young Bucks did in that match, good Lord almighty. That was definitely competition for match of the night. That Stampede, it was what it was. It wasn't a Donnybrook, but it continued to elevate that story of John Moxley and Kingston. Don't think Eddie Kingston fixed anything, as you saw him flip him off after driving him into a barbed wire board. By the way, that's a real hardcore homage to Terry Funk, including the branding iron without the branding iron heater, by the way. I thought that was a nice touch, though, because, again, safety first. You can't brand a competitor. But apparently you can stab him in the head with skewers.
And first time he's experienced that this year.
I mean, I saw Jun Kasai, so I'm already fucking ridiculous as it is. So
yep, I did too.
Still doesn't make it any easier for me. And then Eddie Kingston up in that skybox, and Tony Khan even talked about that moment. That was funny. The dude with the Be Real shirt, you're an idiot. From Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston, hey guys, hands on Cloud Casanova for a good portion of this. Sue arriving in a different minivan. I think that minivan was a rental. I don't think that was a brand new one. And then bringing in some baked goods for everybody. And Cookie Sheets.
Sue!
I gotta love Sue. It's Sue! And then Orange Cassidy, what in the holy hell was this? Grinding his hand, even though the tape was on it, in shattered glass with a truly loaded orange punch a couple of times over to Claudio Castagnoli to finally drop him and somehow get the win for his team. That is the most ridiculous thing I had ever fucking seen an individual do for a win in my life. What the hell?
You gotta do what you gotta do to win a match, and that's exactly what Orange Cassidy did, especially when it's no DQ, falls count anywhere, stadium stampede. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Dude, you don't plant glass in your fucking hand, even with tape on it. I don't give a damn what sort of sense you try and make.
Tell Orange Cassidy that.
He's not going to listen to me. He's just going to say whatever.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then, of course, you had the women's fatal four-way. Result aside, all four women had an incredible presentation. Let's just talk about the entrances. Toni Storm coming in like the leading actress of Hollywood, endorsed by Nigel McGuinness. This is bigger than Marilyn Strip. How dare you? Freaking hell, Nigel.
Yeah.
And the friggin' noir, the black and white lights, the friggin' distressed actress. I know how great I am, but I am not great enough without my championship. I deserve respect. I was like, what the fuck?
Like I said,
was the red carpet. Jesus.
Like I said, she's Toni Monroe. She's Toni Marilyn Storm. I said it.
The only thing they were missing was a fan underneath her and a dress blown up. Just saying. If you know, you know. Classic immortal scene of cinema. And then you shut it, King. And then of course you had Darby DMD coming out literally with an homage to the first time she went all in 2018. What a moment that must have been for Britt. And then of course Sheeta competing in front of the biggest audience ever in her 16-year professional wrestling career. And then you had Saraya, who not only came out with something you thought was out of scene of the finale of Fire My Family, she came out to Queen World Rock You with her full family in tow, brother, sister, mother, acquaintances, all the way to the ring. That girl was not losing that damn match. I'm so glad I changed that at the time because I was like, it's Saraya. They're going to have to do something special. It's the only women's match on this card. You got to leave a lasting impression. And Toni Storm left a lasting impression decking Saraya's mother. And boy, does she fuck up.
That was miscommunication. That was miscommunication.
No, that's Saraya. No, that's Miss Saraya that wanted to rip Toni Storm's hair out of her head.
I know she was the toughest Britain woman out there, but still, that was miscommunication. You saw it.
Things happen on the fly, I guess. And then the unique circumstance of how much grit Hikaru Shida had against Hikaru Shida's lockjaw, which beat her in the first place, if you remember, back in Double or Nothing 2021. Just saying, folks. And then the soundness of two matches. Can the Outcasts coexist, or would they have a fallout? They did just that. Toni Storm getting rampage and trying to bring the title back in. By the way, the fact that Toni Storm was threatening to possibly hip check Saraya's neck against an exposed turnbuckle, maybe a bit of an extreme spot to tease, to say the least. But again, everybody agrees to what they do. I'm just saying that was scary because I was like, oh God, if she hits this, Saraya's going on the shelf permanently. So again, it was a match of two matches. That pendulum into the curve stomp combination impromptu. Your girl Toni Storm definitely played the role of crash test dummy, to say the least, because she got planted 10 times over, and Saraya got the pin on Toni Storm. So again, that pop, by the way, the aesthetics, let me just say this, the aesthetics of that arena, subtle, like 1992, but it felt bigger than WrestleMania, with even that pyro in tone over the arena. There's something about the presentation of Wembley that stands out for me more than previous WrestleManias over the last decade and a half, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. So, again, just simple, subtle things to love in wrestling. Oh, and Hook won the SW Championship back, as we all expected him to. I'm sure Taz was not biased at all, and I'm sure Taz was extremely happy. I'm just saying. Kangaroo kick apparently is a drop kick. Who would have funkin'? So, but anyway, getting back to current events. as we move on from there, it was time for Sting the Ripper and Darby Allin after Christian Cage came up with a Big Ben countdown. I thought that was a nice touch. And then Swerve got a live performance as 81,000 claimed that whose house? It was Swerve's house. And Prince Nana got his groove on in front of everybody while being wrapped his way to the ring. What the fuck? What's the weird thing though? Tag team coffin match. Only one coffin. I mean, I'm just saying. And yes, I know the dreads were outside the coffin after the coffin dropped to the coffin lid, with Swerve in it as well. Darby, you're a fucking madman. After already coffin dropping on the lid itself, missing Swerve completely. I thought Darby broke his freaking back. Just saying. But as the count to Metallica Seek and Destroy, a callback to WCW days for those that are a wrestling historian like me to a degree. That was a fucking awesome, barbaric, ballistic, Showtime-esque tag team coffin match. I loved every bit of it. And Joker Sting, I felt, was even more Joker-esque in this, despite the fact his preview presentation was Jack the Ripper trying to pull off a British accent. I was like, God.
The only thing that's for sure about Sting, never mind.
He was on AEW pay-per-view. That's what's for sure about Sting. And he had a cricket bat. He even homaged to the UK, had a cricket bat.
Yeah,
because again, but he also had a little bit of slugger. And then Nick Wayne came out and Luchasaurus just headbutt him into friggin' submission. Damn. So again, I'm wondering the condition of Darby Allin heading into all that, which we'll talk about here shortly. You said earlier, Will Ospreay's biggest match today, biggest moment. Now he's being Okada, Omega, and Jericho in the span of 2 months in a hell of a match. And Chris Jericho performed Judas in front of 81,000 people, but lost in front of the biggest event in wrestling history. And again, that still has to stick in his craw, as you saw Sammy Guevara trying to counsel him, but he pushed him off. And even Sammy tried to help him with the win, bashing Will Ospreay with the baseball bat to the side of the head, while Aubrey Edwards was distracted by Don Callis. Don Callis almost costing his man. So again, it was a great match for what it was, and they pulled out all the stops here. But at the end of the day, Chris Jericho knew what was coming, took a hidden blade to the face, and a Stormbreaker, and that's all she wrote. And then we go to the Trios Championships. That was the semifinal, which I find very interesting for a couple of reasons. One, Billy Gunn, badass Billy Gunn, he did get his moment. There was a couple of moments I thought he wasn't going to get it. I thought it was going to be his ultimate send-off. Two, 81,000 fireflies as Buddy Matthews brought out the lantern, and the House of Black paid homage to the fallen Bray Wyatt in their white adorned attire. A dark light in Wembley, if we would say. And Julia Hart got Shiver Me Timbers. What the hell was that about? There's nothing down. Never mind. I'm not going there. Julia Hart played her part. Simple as that. Am I wrong?
You're not. I'm laughing about it, but you're not wrong.
Yeah, go. I did not expect to call that. I'm just going to say that for the record. That broke me. I don't know if you watched the watch along. That broke me. But freaking JJ and James had to pick up the slack. I'm sorry. And then, of course, the main event. Now, here's the thing. AEW doesn't have writers. AEW focuses on bringing out a perspective of competition. AEW proved they can tell a story, main event level, capable, without a writer. What MJF and Adam Cole did, calling back the entire summer of their rise as friends, as brothers, as opponents, and the risks and the choices of human morale versus the pursuit of a championship. Angst on both men's face. From the moves, reckless abandonment, and safe to be damned, dropping MJF on his neck more times than I can count. Christ. That was scary, to say the least. And then again, the reluctancy with the suicide dive, using the Dynamite Diamond ring, the match, both men go with a double clothesline, the 10 count. I was like, oh, God, no. And then 5 more minutes. No, we're winning. We're going until there's a damn winner in Wembley. This isn't about just Triple B and me just simply retaining it by circumstance. We're going to see truly who is the best. By the way, shout out to Adam Cole channeling Handsome Jack, the hero, for those that don't know, Borderlands, because Adam Cole is a gamer, Xbox gamer. Just saying. Nice homage, Adam Cole, baby. And then, of course, we had Roderick Strong coming into play, testing Adam Cole's morale. Are you my friend? Do you want to be the champion? Are you willing to go that length? Is MJF just your friend or opponent? Countless times over, including post-match where MJF's like, all you want was a belt. I should have known. I was a fool to be vulnerable to you and think that you were my friend. As again, the devil at the end of the day is the devil as he came in on a throne of worshipers down the ringside. Good grief almighty, the presentation of that man and the theatrics. But at the end of the day, what do? They embraced each other, and Adam Cole was counted by MJF after the homage 1992, the inside cradle. Just a small package. Adam Cole just dropped, but they still embraced each other at the end. Yes, you are my best friend. And Roderick Strong, absolutely distressed, walked away with the OGK as MJF and Adam Cole closed out Wembley Stadium. Baby. I'll say it once. I'll say it again. Greatest professional wrestling event I have seen in my fandom to date. And the fact they announced they're going to do it again next year, this is AEW's. They have Double or Nothing. They have All Out. This is AEW's WrestleMania every year, baby. And that is undisputed. Oof.
Yes, it is.
In other wrestling news, as NWA 75 Night 2 continue, before I talk about Impact Wrestling, 1X has finally been dethroned. A young NWA original that has had much history and respect with Camille finally ascended the summit as all are pretty empowered, rule the NWA with Kenzie Page now the NWA World Women's Champion. As somebody that has followed NWA Power since day one, particularly that individual and her journey and development from Tad Tile to first ever NWA World Television Champion to now the NWA World Women's Champion, I can only say I'm very happy for Kenzie Page. But that does beg the question. Camille did everything possible. She is the 5th longest champion in that title's illustrious history, going all the way back to Mildred Burke in the early 1930s, I believe. What's next for the Brick House? Where will her journey take her? Does she continue on in wrestling? Is there a new venture that awaits? But as far as I'm concerned, Camille made the NWA. They'll be in good hands with Kenzie Page. But she no longer needs them. I'm very curious to see what's next. And all I have to say is thank you, Camille, forever 1X. My God, what a run. What a champion.
You left this out part of AEW All In. I don't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
We had a certain legit Monet in attendance, and it was shown multiple times throughout the show. Gee, I wonder why. ... Not
clear to compete, but yes, Mercedes Monet was in Wembley and looked like she was having a damn good time witnessing the biggest event in wrestling history. And knowing the history with her and Saraya, I'm just saying.
If you want a quick shot when she, you know what? Before you move on, I'm just going to quick shot this. If you don't want to wait till with Jamie on February, why not? If she doesn't even have a full All Elite graphic, I'm fine with that too. Get the title to Mercedes. Let her elevate that.
Whoa, dude. Whoa. Just put Mercedes Monet right at the forefront of the AEW Women's
Right at the forefront. Huh? She doesn't even have to have an All Elite graphic. Just put her at the forefront.
I mean, 7-time Women's World Champion in her own right, multiple times over, multiple companies. IWGP Women's, Raw, SmackDown, WWE Tag Team, NXT. I mean, she is truly a global superstar. So I definitely can see where your head's out, and I can also see where the money can be made with Monet. And even Monet said she can't keep up with Stardom. They are too damn fast. And I was like, yeah, I saw you Sakura Jazz, this great match, but assuming Suzuki had you on the ropes, period, point blank, simple. No disrespect. but Stardom's on a whole nother level, especially in the high
They're high.
speed. It's saying.
They're high speed. No, and like you said, there's a high speed championship belt made for a reason.
That's currently on Saki Kasimo, who's of course part of God's Eye, and so far has been doing rather well with her new family. And speaking of doing rather well, China Nakano proves that she still can survive as she survived the Megasis. Of course, I'm talking about Megan Bain, who threw her sideways 10 different times over at the last Stardom pay-per-view. Jesus Christ. Megan Bain, I think, is a great fit for Stardom, though, because for Stardom, they don't have that giant juggernaut per se. They do have some powerhouses, but Megan Bain is a different force. And under guidance like Utami Hayashita, Megan Bain could be something very special. A goddess in her own right in Stardom. I hope to definitely see more of her involved there, personally.
Yeah, I haven't seen Megan Bain since when she was on AEW Dark. So, yeah.
Yeah, because she was out on injury. And then Utami brought her back to Stardom, and next thing you know, she was taking on freaking the Tam Nakano for the red belt, the most prestigious belt in women's wrestling, and most prestigious belt in freaking Stardom. So there you go. And other news, Towers has officially retired from pro wrestling. EC3 is the new NWA World Champion. Yeah.
I can't believe that's really a thing now.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. I have no words. I don't.
That just broke the king. All right. Well, let's go ahead and shift gears a little bit into Impact Wrestling because they also had their own show there too. I'll take the forefront on this because, of course, I watched it. So first off, the countdown. We started off with a grudge bout here. Speedball might be able Sound Angels, a bit of a follow-up from Slammiversary. And as we know, Speedball will be contesting for the IWGP Junior Championship in a triple threat against Roma Takahashi and the current Division Champion Leo Rush. In a game-winning contest, Speedball Mike Billy did get the win once again over Allin Angels, who debuted in Impact Wrestling, taking on Speedball Mike Billy, for those that remember, for the X Division Championship. It was a good match. And then following that, we go into the countdown. It was the Good Hands taking on the new tag team creation of Joe Hendry and Ulia Mera, now known as Joya. And all I'm going to say, because I know he's got a lot to say about this, this is one of the most creative, entertaining, choreographed entrances I have seen in Impact Wrestling tag team history. We're talking about Team 3D. We're talking about Beer Money. We're talking about Morrissey Machine Guns. We're talking about America's Most Wanted. We're talking about Generation Me. And now you have Joe Hendry and Uya Yamera in Joya.
The fact that you put those two, which I have the high respect for Yuya, I've always had since his New Japan Strong days, and then the fact that you put them in front of the greatest tag teams in TNA and Impact history, you should be ashamed, sir. You should be ashamed because this Zoza or whatever you call it, I still call it gimmick infringement because they stole that from one private party's Isaiah Cassidy. Can I get a yeah? So basically, Joe Hendry just basically made it to Joey Week. But first of all, I didn't really like the dude because of his theme song and then his gimmick, and then all of a sudden he makes Joya. What are we supposed to be Joya about? The only thing Joya is when you go out of my TV screen. Talking about this Joya.
Do you feel better? Do you feel better now?
I've been waiting all week. I've been waiting all week for that.
Oh my God, me, James, Walter. So JJ and you are under the same boat. Okay, so in context, I was talking about teams of the past, but let's be honest here. They're going to be this team this generation, okay? Look at the tag teams this generation. Young, bright, up-and-comer, hungry talent. Joe Hendry is a veteran dude from Over the Top Wrestling, from ICW, from Ring of Honor. Hell, he once contested for the Ring of Honor Television Championship. He and Don Castle was once a thing.
I remember, but that was the Joe Hendry I respected. But this hair.
It's still the same Joe Hendry. It's the same theme.
I know. I remember that.
Oh. I said Joe Hendry and he disappeared. Try again. Anyway, no, seriously though, I gotta ask you, dude, what's different to Joe Hendry from then versus now in Impact Wrestling? Where honestly, dude, he's probably had more creative, actual outlook and better presentation in his career in a long damn time.
I guess back then, Ring of Honor, I guess I was just, Ring of Honor has always caught my interest. It always has. And it's just basically, I've always, it was, I guess, the gimmick I was just used to, I guess, at that age. But the more I start to get the gimmick and the more I'm starting to basically understand the gimmick again, I'm just like, why did I even respect Joe Hendry gimmick-wise? Because it's overbearing.
Too much motivation for you to handle. All right. I'm just saying that's what he is.
If I wanted motivation, I could have asked Simon Dean to get on the Simon system.
You know, that's interesting. Joe Hendry had never been on a Segway, I don't think, in his life. So, I mean.
Oh, Jesus.
Just saying, you're giving him ideas. But yeah. So now we have Uyamaro, who's on excursion, teaming up alongside Joe Hendry to pursue being champions. Courtesy of Uyamaro saying that word himself.
I swear, if Scott D'Amore, you make them tag team champions. Oh.
Well, RFA's team, and we'll talk more about that here in a moment. Again, this tag team division right now features the Rascals, the Morrissey Machine Guns, the newly christened team, Most Professional Wrestling Gods, Moose and Brian Myers. You got Rich Swann, Semi Callahan. Hey, look at this form of a tag team division. I already got more than WWE. Oh, sorry. Did I say it out loud? Let's see here. Where was I at? Let's see. Subculture. You had you have this team. You got the Good Hands. That's 7. Just off the top of my head. I still don't think I named all of them. Nor other ones that I think are actually in development. Just saying. Because she ain't coming out. Anyway, so yeah. This new tag team debuted called Joya. Whoops. Botch technology. Called Joya. And they beat the Good Hands in their true tag team debut. So we'll see how much Joy moves forward in the Impact Wrestling tag team division. It's a catchy bop. It reminds me, I think Walter hit the nail on the head. It's like Nad the Roxbury with the freaking retro synthwave vibe, disco-esque vibe, simple lyrics. Anyway, okay, enough Joya. So now that you got your rant out, calm down, brother. All right, you sound like me with Jeff Jarrett, and the only reason I'm not ready tonight, 2 reasons. 1, I'm tired. 2, tranquilo. All right, let's continue. So moving on is that was hilarious. Moving on to Impact Wrestling Emergence. Let's talk about what else went down as we head now towards Victory Road and Impact 1000. Good Lord, Impact 1000 stacked, but I'm actually a little bit concerned. Anyway, Impact Emergence. You want to talk about some people that should be buried in the past, or how the fuck are they still a thing? Giant Spear contested against Kenny King for the Judgment Day Championship. Nearly won the title thanks to Keith Slayer's wake-up call. And I almost had a heart attack. And then Kenny King attacked on Dream afterwards. So you can put 2 and 2 together and figure out what's happening next. Why? Anyway, Subculture lost the Impact World Tag Team Championships to the Rascals. I could not freaking believe it. As Tag Team Chaos went down on the outside with the ABC. There's the other team I do want to mention. And the Good Hands, as the Rascals beat the Subculture. I couldn't believe it, but hey, to represent, congratulations, Trey Miguel. In the opening contest, oh, by the way, they all did pay homages, by the way, to Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt with commemorative stickers, and you can see it in their gear and masks, particularly Eric Young, who came out and beat Diener. I think the designer finally put down the design in a no disqualification match, power driving his head on a barbed wire board while sitting on the barbed wire board himself. Yep, that's Eric Young for you.
Yep, EY never changed.
No. And apparently, Killer Kowalski's students, Eddie Edwards, and his morale hasn't changed a good standard as kind of cinematic-esque, considering loss thanks to the help of Alicia Edwards, and then they bashed a picture over his head. Right. That was stupid. What wasn't stupid was this was quite something. As Sonata took on Jake Something in what was a very heavily contested match where I think Jake Something earned Sonata's respect. For those that don't remember, Great Sonata, former X Division champion under James Storm, part of the Revolution a few years back, now back here in Impact Wrestling. not with his title as it's been stolen by Evil and held hostage. Yeah, we'll talk more about that next AEW view once this injustice and miscarriage has been corrected. Just
Man.
get me started. And yeah, Jake Sullivan came very close, but a counter from the end of the void into finally hitting dead balls. Sonata put down Jake something. It was a very strong contest. And then we also had the knockouts take center stage, the best women's division in wrestling, there I said, on the Western Front, as Killer Kelly and Marsha Service, MK Ultra, defended the gold against Joshua Shaw and Savannah Evans, Death Dolls, and the coming. Wait a second. Interestingly enough, Taylor Wilde was attacked backstage by an unknown assailant, but Jody Fret was there at that moment, and apparently Jody Fret and Cotton King were a tag team. They did not coexist that well. I think Jody Fret got lost in the moment and tagged Death Dolls incoherently multiple times. Bottom line, Courtney Rush just got squashed, I think, a couple of inches shorter with a stereo package power drive by AK Ultra, and it was Killer Kelly and Master Slavers that came out still the Knockouts Tag Team Champions. Yay. I like this tag team. I don't know why, but there's something different about them. And I'm not just saying that because the aura goes a special shade of red when they're in the ring with each other and there's communication without words. If you know, you know. Look at their entrance. And other news.
Whoa, all right.
MK Ultra, the women's tag team I didn't know I needed in my life. Anyway. Sorry. Anyway, and in eight-man, I'm fine. In eight-man tag team action, Time Machine and Josh Alexander took on Bully Ray, Moose, Brian Myers, and Leah Rush as PCO continues to haunt Bully Ray, and everything broke down in multiple ways. Moose speared Josh Alexander and got the win for his team as Alex Shelley left him high and dry after a tiny miscommunication. And Steve Macklin's back, which means Mayhem is on full arrival, and I bet you he wants Josh Alexander, and he wants back his title. So, think about that, heading into Victory Road and Bound for Glory, where right now nothing's been made for both of those shows. And in the main event, you could talk about these two. I know you didn't watch the match, but yes, Trinity did it again. Trinity successfully defended the Knockouts World Championship against Deonna Purrazzo, and once again, it was via submission.
Wow.
Yep. Virgil Rose was forced to tap out once again after Starstruck was put in after a Bubba S. I'm calling it the Star Bomb. After that sit-out full Nelson bomb from the corner. Trinity bested the Virtuosa at her own game again. But the match came down this close. It was an incredible contest. Gail Kim was sitting at ringside for this. Of course, Toronto homecomer, Hall of Famer, best women's booker ever in the industry. Just saying, not named Rousey from Stardom, who does a pretty decent job himself. But yeah, Trinity once again beat the Virtuosa. And prior to this, we learned that Jordan Grace is back and has re-signed a new contract. And remember, Jordan Grace could not contest for the Knockouts World Championship as long as Deonna was holding it. He's not holding it anymore. I'm just saying.
Yup.
And Will Ospreay is on his way also to Impact Wrestling. He will be at Bound for Glory.
Yep, I seen that.
What the hell? So overall, Emergence definitely emerged. A lot of new, interesting details and things to think about ahead of the 1,000th episode and Victory Road. The 1,000th episode so far, it will feature, get this, Team 3D back in tag team action against a team not named yet. Feast or Fired is coming back. Someone's getting fired. And someone's going to get an Impact World Championship opportunity along with others. You know as well as I do what that stipulation has led to in the past.
Yep, it has.
Yeah, I'm a little worried. We also have Ultimate X coming back. There has been officially made the mixed tag. It will be Tracy Brooks, the original Knockout OG, and Frank Kazarian's wife. Tag alongside Frank Kazarian to take on Alicia Edwards and Eddie Edwards in mixed tag team action. The beautiful people are returning as well to Impact Wrestling. King, control yourself, damn it. And we also have Impact Knockout Hall of Famer Awesome Kong also be a part of the festivities. This Impact Wrestling 1000 show is stacked. And the
I'm gonna
Impact
have.
World Championship will also be defended here against Trey Miguel, my hometown boy from Toledo, as Alex Shelley will defend the gold. More details are to come as Impact 1000 is around the corner. So
Which
that
I
being
will.
said,
I will
oof,
watch that. I will watch that. I'm going to watch that. I mean, it's
we're
1,000.
gonna cover it again. Who would have thought this company, under so much circumstances of controversy, bad booking, bad management, what Scott D'Amore has cultivated in the last 5 years, what the Knockouts division continued to be and has really become and flourished, what the X division continues to showcase and tries to surpass. Impact Wrestling truly has been the alternative, the little engine that could, the company that many owe thanks to for their talent and the other promotions too. But honestly, Impact Wrestling, it is that company that really the industry didn't know it needed. So as we approach Impact 1000, King, what's your thoughts regarding all these details I informed you about that's going to be on the episode and what happened at Emergence?
Oh my goodness, like 1,000 episodes of Impact. This company, that company. Even though I have fallen way out of that company due to, you know, circumstances and situations and stuff
I
like that.
understand that.
So, but I always keep up to date whenever I can with Impact, especially on some occasions. But the Impact 1000 though, it is looking real stacked. I'm going to have to get my toes dipped in back in the Impact for one night only for the 1000 episode because the names that you mentioned, I've watched throughout the years of TNA and Impact within the company itself. So that was like my alternative when nobody can play ball in any other wrestling promotion. TNA was the one. TNA Impact was the one for me. I was watching both WWE and then TNA Impact. So that was my alternative. And the names you just mentioned bringing me right back to watching 1,000 episodes of Impact.
There you go.
And plus Will Ospreay coming to Chicago for Bounce of Glory. I can't believe that's happening.
Right?
But as far as Trinity and Deonna Purrazzo, once I knew that was coming, as in not her retaining, but her winning that title at Slammiversary. But her defeating Deonna Purrazzo twice,
Yes,
wow. That is impressive. Over the Virtuosa herself, that is impressive. Now, begs the question for me goes like this. What is next for the Virtuosa?
I don't know. We know her contract's up in January. I know Wesley wanted me to talk more about that, but again, Wesley, as part of the Championship was me, if you want to take the conversation, super chat's as simple as that. I keep saying it all the time. You and I keep talking about it. Changes are coming in 2024 across the board. And why the Endeavor and the WWE merger is going to be finalized very soon.
Mid to late. Actually, in a few weeks, folks, just to let y'all know, in a few weeks.
Stay tuned, folks. There might be an emergency AEW VIEW Impromptu discussing the changes and budget choices. Again, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, even said if she could wrestle one person right now from any other company, who would it be? And that would be the Virtuosa, Deonna Purrazzo. There's tremendous history, respect, and a friendship and a rivalry there with those two, just like there is with Britt Baker and the Bunny. Yay, Allie. So, again, it's one of those things where I could see the Virtuosa go to AEW, and she did main event there before, even if it meant losing the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship to Mercedes Martinez, but still circumstances, just saying. So, again, I'm not sure. Again, she's already become Knockouts Tag Team Champion, and her partner, Chelsea Green, is in WWE. Again, all the best to her. No disrespect. And also, of course, she's been a 3-time Knockouts World Champion. She's been main eventy. She's been the standard. She's been the defining force, the defining pro wrestler of this Knockouts division. 3 years over. But what do you do to constantly reinnovate that? And again, this is the Knockouts division. They're the best representation of women in wrestling. Hell, it was Trinity and Deonna Purrazzo for the Knockouts World title in the main event with Jade Chung doing the ring announcing. You all might know her better as the wife of One Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander, a former knockout as well, with Allison Lee, the female official of the Impact Wrestling Rev Corps, with Gail Kim on commentary. You don't get a stronger representation of women's professional wrestling than that.
Exactly. In the States, Gail Kim knows how to put pen to paper on that book. Best booker in the women's division. Triple H, Tony, take some notes.
Yeah. Although again, Athena, by the way, the forever Ring of
Yep.
Honor Women's World Champion. I mean, she's been strong butts as well, but now you need to find her some real competition. And at this point, unless you go to Stardom, I don't know who you got left.
I don't know
Seriously,
either.
seriously, I don't know at this point. She beat Joshi. She beat AEW. She beat Ring of Honor. She beat Indy. She beat everybody. Not from Impact Wrestling. Just saying. Anyway, but yeah. So yeah, that's just some thoughts about Impact Wrestling. What happened? What's ahead? And again, Impact Wrestling 1000 is literally just in a couple of weeks. As coming up next, their Impact Plus their next Impact Plus monthly special 50 Road, and then we go Bound for Glory in October as they prepare to go over to the UK here very soon as well. By the way, I want to give a quick shout out to our enforcer Lex, and of course one of our queen, the queen. Cindy, you will always be the indie darling, but again, she is the original queen. Megan Shiva, aka Mary J. Please follow on the social medias where she always proves that Jade is worth more than gold. I hope that Jade and Lex had both an incredible time at AEW All in Women's. They were part of history their life. And follow her promotion posts of Wood Green Wrestling and follow her continued journey on the social medias. Nothing but love to you, my friend. Cheers to you. So, again, it's been a wild weekend of pro wrestling. And here we go again, as the White Snake song goes, not copyright, but not on my own. Going down the only road I've ever known, but I digress. As we got two more shows. WWE's got Payback on Saturday night. Stay tuned, folks. I'll be doing City Predicting for that 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Friday because I don't have Fox. And SmackDown still underwhelming to me. And then, of course, Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, ahead of Payback because I'm crazy. But I also cover everything. I'll be doing Super Predicting for AEW All Out. And right now, while the All Out card isn't fully booked, we definitely got some more meat to it, to say the least. As now we know of at least 6 matches, and a couple of them remain to be fully set. And when's the problem if one more is added during Collision? Let's go ahead and slowly talk about AEW All Out before we give our adieu. So as we know, AEW All Out, once again, is coming from, I'm just going to say this for the record, Tony Khan, you are oversaturating Chicago, my friend. You need to hit other markets. And I think Chicago overall is getting burnt out on wrestling because this year alone, they have something for Impact, AEW, and freaking WWE. Golly, there's more than Chicago when it comes to the wrestling industry. Yes.
Explore. Like, Tony, this is why you brought Jeff Jarrett in, right? I get you want to do all out tradition in Chicago. We get that. But sometimes traditions are meant to be broken like that. Get away from Chicago. Chicago needs a break as a whole.
Damn right. No wonder that city's gone fucking belly up. Well, maybe that's not the only reason, but that's definitely probably part of the reason because wrestling causes people to be stupid. The wrong people. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go ahead and slowly talk about this show because Tony Khan's a mammoth. While we just came off the greatest and biggest event in wrestling history, here's All Out. So, oh God. All right. So as we know we're going to have it more essentially focused around the Ring of Honor Championship. So that can respect. One, Mother Nature is being a fickle mistress with hurricanes, and everybody that might be in their path, please take care of yourself. Stay safe. Casey, that includes you. I'm sure we'll get the aftermath of some of that rain. 2, we know people are mourning over the loss, particularly of Bray Wyatt, to the point that tonight on Dynamite, most of that roster wasn't even there as Tony Khan. Business, fickleness aside, the man's got a heart. The man's got good morale. You got to respect that. He literally said, you guys want to go be a part of the Bray Wyatt celebration, I'm not sure what they actually call it, then you do not have to be part of Dynamite. And we saw that firsthand here tonight. And still, pretty semi-decent show. And he kept booking more matches. But essentially, this is going to be more so the Ring of Honor title showcasing, if you ask me. Let's go ahead and start talking about that. As we know, watching Ring of Honor, as we do, because folks, for those that don't know, we do watch Ring of Honor. But here's a bit of simple advice for you. You don't have to tweet everything you see. Thank you. Anyway, simple as that. Ring of Honor World Championship will be on the line as the unstoppable Dominant Samoa Joe, I think he's on the verge of being the longest reigning Ring of Honor Television Champion. Since winning
Mm-hmm.
last year against Minoru Suzuki, will defend against the winner of a tournament they've been holding across Ring of Honor. And a badass of himself and a former dominant Ring of Honor Television Champion. Might I add, the guy that beat Jeff Cobb for the title would have seemed impossible. Straight out Cleveland, Ohio, Shane Taylor. So King, again, to beat Samoa Joe, will it take a force as dangerous as him versus the Ultimate Babyface when people thought Don Castle should have won it at freaking for Dishonor, but that's a whole different story, Stokely. What's your thoughts on this Ring of Honor World Television match?
This is two hosses gonna go at it between Shane Taylor and Samoa Joe. But at the end of the day, like at the end of the night, at the end when that bell rings, and one winner gets their hand raised, will Shane Taylor be that force that we all know of Shane Taylor Promotions, captain of Shane Taylor Promotions? Will he be that force that we know him to be, a force to be reckoned with, and take that little sweet tooth of Joe's that's been holding on to him for quite almost the longest reigning Ring of Honor World Television Champion within its history? But I have a feeling, in my prediction, Shane Taylor ain't gonna be the one to do it neither. It's going to have to take someone bigger. I don't know who yet, but it's going to take someone bigger to stop that sweet tooth of Joe's. Because Joe's got a grasp. I mean, he's got a good grasp on that Ring of Honor World Television Championship that is not even no one's business. Ever since he became champ, he's ran roughshod. Heck, he was double champ at one point, holding both the TNT Championship and Ring of Honor World Television Championship simultaneously.
King of Television.
As he monikered
that.
Exactly. Like I said, it's going to take a bigger force than Shane Taylor. Will it come down to the wire between two powerhouses? Yes, it will. But Joe's going to escape it by this much. That much.
So you're saying Joe's really going to be tested by this, but he still escapes with the prize.
Exactly.
That's one of those things, though. I look at the Ring of Honor Television Championship history, and you think about the people that held it. You look at the current roster right now. I do think Don Callis could still be the guy that maybe they're setting us up for the long run, like they did the Claudio Castagnoli thing. Maybe he'll be the guy at the final battle if they go that far. Because again, this is not Ring of Honor pay-per-view, but they're clearly showing the Ring of Honor titles here more than AEW titles. That they're what they did with Wembley with all of them. Can't say I don't blame them. So, yeah, I think I kind of agree with you here. I think that Samoa Joe will continue to still be, because you thought the guy was going to take maybe a vacation or time off. Nope, not ready to yet. I think that he is going to still come out the Ring of Honor Television Champion. Well, let's go ahead and continue things here. So we know the Ring of Honor World Television Champion will be on the line, as I still can't believe they fucking did it all in. Just saying. Good thing I'm all for me to sink that in. As MJF and Amco, baby, defend the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships against. And the reason I say that is because, as we learned this night on Dynamite, there will be a Ring of Honor Tag Team Battle Royal. Boy, did he love doing these things. And the team's goes as follows. You have the Outlander. What? What the hell are they doing in this?
Yeah, the Outlanders. Like, what?
All right. Well, I mean, Ziggy Dice already been squashing Ring of Honor. He's not even part of this crew. Just saying. Anyway. Darius Martin, Action Andretti. You have the Best Friends, who still surprised me to this day. They have not been tag team champions in any sort of rights as being part of AEW. What the hell? Anyway, you have Ryan Nemeth. Oh, God. Ryan
Was that Ryan Nemeth and
Pretty Peter Avalon?
Oh, God.
Hey, you remember the Wingman?
Why are the... Never mind. Continue.
You have you dig what I'm saying, man. You have the Righteous. You have the Hardys. You want a taste of sports entertainment. You got Matt Menard and Angelo Parker. You got the former champions, Aussie Open. You got the Gates of Agony representing the Mogul Moxley, Toro Leona, and freaking Bishop Colm. And you have the Dark Order, Alex Reynolds and John Silver. And the winner of that tag team battle royal that we'll learn, of course, this Friday at Rampage, for we are spoiler free here at this event brand, will face MJF and Adam Cole at All Out for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships as MJF relaxes in Paris and tries to recuperate his neck. And as we also learned, and we'll talk more about this post AEW All Out once we get the bracket on our post review All Out ATW Impromptu. We also learned that we will get a tournament, 8-man tournament. One participant apparently already put his name in there, not official yet, for a chance to challenge MJF for the Triple B, the AEW World Championship at Grand Slam. And speaking of AEW, once again, adding more madness, we learn also, you talk about honoring tradition, how about honoring the fallen, not fight for the fallen? He's honoring Antonio Inoki with the first ever Wrestle Dream. I have no idea what that's going to entail. I expect a lot of NJPW influence, but again, is he stretching himself too thin? Are we becoming a WWE where we're almost getting something monthly? I fear to say the least.
Oh, and I hope not. I really hope not, because that's what the alternative is there for.
But we'll talk more about that later as we get more details, folks. As that, of course, was announced during the media scrum. So at this point, King, what tag do you think should face MJF and Adam Cole first at this point? Now, obviously, it's got to be a babyface dynamic, right? Because technically, MJF's still kind of heelish, but then again, you got the ultimate bromance. So, I mean, I guess any of these teams really would do, but also this is a pay-per-view, so you kind of don't want to be a pushover.
Ooh, let's see. Out of all the teams that were in that graphic, and if I were to pick one, my prediction to face them at All Out.
Yes.
Let's see. It's going to have to be between Best Friends and Aussie Open if they want their rematch. If they win, they get their rematch. But I'm going with Best Friends entirely.
Well, I mean, hey, the Best Friends versus two brothers. Hey, maybe we'll see if MJF and Adam Cole give the people what they want. And we know Orange Cassidy will, of course, be defending the title there, so that's a fair point. So, regardless, looking at this graphic, I mean, the Hardys probably a pretty cool idea, too. I mean, the Hardys have been trying to pursue tag team gold, but, of course, there are two sets of tag team titles under. There are two sets of tag team titles under the Tony Khan regime. And, of course, Dark Order has been trying to prove a point since showing their aggressive nature back a step before at Dishonor. But Dark Order was also involved last year at All Out in the Trios tournament for the actual Trios Championships, and they lost. Yep. So would they do that to the Dark Order 2 years in a row for gold and have them lose? I don't know. But I think just to look at this graphic here and just thinking about, you know, what's going to be an obnoxious, entertaining showcase, but also still allow the regardless, I think the champs are going to retain. I'm just going to say Matt Menard and Angelo Parker, since we know they're going to be in action and collision this Saturday in a trio. Oh, wait. Oh, they're contesting for the Trios Championships.
Correct.
You actually might be on point there with the Best Friends, because the Best Friends will always give you a stellar performance. And again, eventually they got to get their time, but they might not. And Action Andretti and Darius Martin, they're a great team, but I don't know necessarily if they should be the ones to face Cole, as Dante Martin still recovers, and I still think Top Flight's the key guys. Right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with you here. I think that the Best Friends are gonna win this, and I think MJF and Adam Cole are going
especially after coming off a monumental win with Orange Cassidy and Stadium Stampede. I mean, it only makes sense.
They can survive a cool down moment. You're and they earned this opportunity, so they earned the opportunity in this Battle Royale. Yeah, it does seem like it makes more sense. You got a point. You got a point. All right. Well, let's go ahead and switch gears here to a match I actually do have a graphic for, and I know you got a lot to say about this, because at the end of the day, will Don Callis succeed long-term in removing the E from All Elite, where his family went 2-0 at All In, at All Out? Can he get that singles win? By God, you tell me, King. Because in singles action, it's Kenny, by God, Omega and his history of injuries versus Don Callis' self-appointed new son in the Don Callis family. Of course, talking about Konosuke Takeshita, and again, Don Callis in the corner. We've already heard their training plans and cliff notes to best the cleaner. King, your thoughts on this match? What the hell is going to go down this Sunday in Chicago?
First of all, I wonder how Don got those notes. Stole them. Anyways, history, history, history. These two got history within each other within DDT Pro.
2010.
Omega and Ibushi took this man underneath their wing as a young rookie, young kid. And then Superstardom came with Takeshita in his oh so ever rise to stardom, superstardom, as a matter of fact. And then Omega was the one that brought him in to join the Elite while Don Callis was still a part of managing services of the Elite as a whole. Omega brought him in. Bucks wasn't so sure about it, but of course, they accepted it. Because one, Takeshita was wearing, once upon a time, Kota Ibushi's colors on his gear.
White gold.
So that kind of was basically, okay, we're planting seeds here. Little bit of storytelling here, just within gear alone.
Yes.
And then we all saw what happened at Blood and Guts. Actually, no. Omega and Mox in a steel cage. We all saw what happened.
Yeah.
The betrayal happened. Screwdriver to the head from one invisible hand.
Well, that hand was not invisible. That hand was full on seen.
And then convinced Takeshita to join his family. And then we've been seeing this dark, ominous theme like rain. Which do something with that theme. Do something.
You heard the scrum. Don Callis hates trying to make the people happy. He doesn't believe in music. He doesn't believe in that type of personality. He wants the people to literally just be stewing, stuck there. That's why he's not giving any emotion. That's why we just got this. Continue.
But other than that, here's what I think about what the history though. This is Konosuke's first big singles match in a pay-per-view.
Yep.
That's where it's really going to shine the brightest and expose its light. Because we all know what Kenny can do in big single matches. We all know what Kenny can do in pay-per-view matches, especially with the hostility that he has with Don that he's been wanting to get a piece of for these many months.
Oh, yeah.
But it's going to start with Takeshita before it gets to him. But with Takeshita got the sneaky roll-up at All In just a few days ago, which I did not see that coming because I had Omega. I had my Golden Cowboys beat Bullet Club Gold and Takeshita. Which, Family Feud, X Strike. Here we are, and of course, I knew this was going to be the plan of Omega and Takeshita. It was basically how we were going to get there from All In, because it was rumored back then before it was even fully announced.
Right.
Omega gets his win back, and Omega finally, after all these months, finally gets his hand on Don Callis. But Omega gets his win back from Takeshita.
So you think this is finally the time that Kenny Omega finally gets his hands on? But okay. So just playing this here, we've seen how close Kenny Omega's tried to get to Don Callis. Don Callis will do what he has to do to make sure that Kenny Omega's aware of his presence. It's the first time we're seeing Kenny Omega in a singles capacity without any sort of souped up security or home field advantage, with Don Callis in his proximity. It's one of those things where I do feel like, again, the Don Callis MO will distract Kenny Omega, because the more Kenny Omega falls, the more Konosuke rises. You said it yourself. It's Konosuke's first big pay-per-view match in his career, singles-wise, and it's against Kenny Omega. If we're going to draw this out to ultimately where Don Callis finally gets what's coming to him, then Don Callis, unfortunately, has taken control of this narrative. I'm going against you here because we know Don Callis will have a plan. It won't be just a bunch of x-rays. It probably will be more than just a screwdriver. And we also got to consider this. He is still scouting for more people for his family. What if another member finally comes forward Sunday at All Out? And with Grand Slam, with Wrestle Dream, and with Full Gear at the Fabulous Forum. Coming up, there's a whole lot more opportunity for Don Callis to make Kenny Omega's life a living hell before we see the cleanup finally rise in victory and put this behind him. You even said it yourself. You've been waiting for this to lead all the way to Will Ospreay once again going after Kenny Omega because they're now 1-1. You said you want a rubber, and now Will Ospreay is the newly christened IWGP United Kingdom Heavyweight Champion. By the way, that likely will be showcased and not defended at Royal Quest 3 that they're doing once again at the Copper Box and JPW. Oh, Lord, please do not add that to the watch along bench, Jeff. My voice! Anyway, thinking about right now the itinerary of the Don Callis family and the scope of it, it's one of those things where, yeah, Kenny Omega and the Elite got the better of Blackpool Combat Club. Seems to be mutual respect now amongst the two. Now we're back to the narrative of Kenny Omega and Don Callis, and we got the Don Callis family versus the Elite. And we saw what happened where the Elite took on Bullet Club Gold, which we'll talk about here shortly, which also has maybe some similar motives to the Don Callis family. There's a lot of enemies right now with the Elite. Kenny Omega particularly. Yep. Something in me feels like right now that Konosuke needs this win. He really does, I feel like. Okay? He escaped. He pinned Kenny Omega at All In. So maybe that's the alibi. But I do wonder, what does it mean if he loses? Honestly, I could see this thing ending a disqualification now that I think about it. If Kenny Omega gets so irate, and again, AEW does disqualifications so rarely, that might be the way. Logic. We got to make this pay-per-view. We don't got a world championship match. We got to make this pay-per-view have some sort of merit, some sort of angle, right? That might be the angle right there. I'm going to say that Kenny Omega wins, but by disqualification. And it will lead to something further and more extreme with him and Don Callis, with Konosuke as accomplice. So, subtly put, I'm going with you, but I think the way to the result will be different. But I will say Konosuke wins. Don't know how. But something tells me this thing is far from done, particularly with Don Callis and Kenny Omega. It will not end at All Out. But I'm going to say Konosuke wins. All right. Again, there's some intrigue when you think about it to this pay-per-view. When you think about what can be built out of this and what is going to be heading into Grand Slam. What if Konosuke and Kenny Omega are in that tournament? Now that we know there are 8 spots, one person claimed a spot, quote unquote. Not been official yet. The tournament begins next week. Are we going to get our full bracket at All Out? If not before, will only show us maybe one match. We do it one match at a time using each showcase. Again, a lot of suspension of disbelief. And does Kenny Omega want to get back after the AEW World Championship?
I mean, the Bucks going after back to the Bucks are back in tag team division. They bring up a good point.
Yeah, and again, at that sit down with JR, we never learned the scope of Kenny Omega's future, nor his direction.
Nope.
So this very well might be it. All right. Well, hey, you just brought up the Young Bucks. Why don't we just keep things with the Elite and challenge you also with your Bullet Club Gold that seems to be too sweet? Because as we learned, it's 8-man tag action. The only multi-person match right now on this card that's not a tag team title match, which I can respect. As the Young Bucks and FTR will tag together after culminating an incredible 7-year trilogy, taking on Bullet Club Gold, who of course was also successful via Switchblade Jay White and Andrews Robinson at All In. So subtly put, again, looking at the enemies of the elite. Does the elite truly are the elite? Do they rule and win everything? And funny enough, Heyman and Page is not booked for this show in any capacity. Well, how about that?
I know.
Makes me
I
wonder if he'll be in
know.
Kenny Omega's corner. That being said, what's your fuss in this 8-man tag, King?
This 8-man tag came about was because, well, there's more to this Bullet Club Gold and Elite storyline than we thought. And I
Yes.
knew that was the case. But just an added intricate is FTR, which they had a 58-minute classic for the AEW World Tag Team Championships on Collision. Of course, Bullet Club Gold want their get back at FTR for losing to them for those AEW World Tag Team Championships. And the Elite, well, the Bucks in this case, want a piece of Bullet Club Gold of what happened in Jacksonville and what happened at All In on Sunday. So how the old saying goes, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And that's the
Yes.
case with FTR and the Young Bucks. They decide to put that trilogy that has already concluded to the side and then basically form up this 8-man, this 4-man team to take down a common enemy. But that common enemy is riding on a high momentum as we speak. And it's been that way. Ever since this Bullet Club Gold was first started, I wouldn't even say started. I feel like in this case, it's an expansion. It's always been an expansion from
Fair.
Bullet Club War Dogs, which that's not my Bullet Club. That would never be my Bullet Club. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care about David Finley and all that. But anyways, then you got the Rogue Army with Bad Luck Fale with his own Bullet Club, a subdivision expansion. And then you have Bullet Club Gold. You tell me which Bullet Club right now has the highest momentum in professional wrestling. That is Bullet Club Gold. Since this formation was formed back in April, the few days after Mania, we've seen the teases with Juice and Ricky, most likely Juice. And then here comes Switchblade Jay White. Now, it was off to a slow start at first, but then Roar did it really become guns up momentum after that. I feel like right now Bullet Club Gold has its highest and it's ever been in quite some time. And they're living up to that Bullet Club name better than all the Bullet Club expansions that's going on in professional wrestling as we speak. I mean, you don't come off a big win like that against Omega, Ibushi, and Page in front of 81,000 in London.
Right.
So right now they are living off that highest momentum at their peak right now. And then of course with Jay White saying, "Oh, the Elite, they thought they were the peak of Bullet Club," which just some truth you can debate about to some truth, some it depends on who's who. I mean that's your take.
Right.
So
Jay White or Kenny Omega, that's still debatable to this day.
exactly. So it's like with that being said, I felt like Bullet Club Gold had a shot, another shot. But this time, since they already got Omega and Page and Ibushi down in their little Toa elite hats or golden elite hats to say, they could be guns up again to give it to. But this time they're going to add a pair of Young Bucks to that golden elite collection, along with some top guys added to the mix. And then Bullet Club Gold get their shot back at the AEW World Tag Team Championships down the road.
Oh, okay. Well, we know the Sex Gods also have eyes on the AEW Tag Team Championships right now. It's Christian and Sammy Guevara trying one more time together. And I do think something's going to give as we approach the anniversary of AEW Dynamite. Just saying. But that being said, I kind of agree with you because, again, Young Bucks, they're prideful. They are men that, again, they have helped literally start this company from the ground up. The vision itself, they are the pioneers that brought tag team wrestling to practically the main event. Duh. So I'm not going to disrespect that. Also, FTR again, it seems like there should be mutual respect, but still there's that solid tension. At the end of the day, you're not the ones that hold the AEW or Tag Team Championships. and that has to be in the back of their mind. We saw it subtly in the trios match. Mutual respect with former AEW Women's World Champions until a miscommunication, and now they're going to go try it again this Saturday on Collision. I expect more of the same. So, that being said, yeah, I do expect Fallout. Bullet Club Gold is truly a united front. But you are facing four of the greatest of all time and two of the greatest tag teams of all time. And then you have the Ass Boys. So it's my thing here where Jay White's not eating the fall, duh. But Juice Robinson and Jay White, they faced FTR. Ass Boys lost tag team championships to FTR. Ass Boys and Young Bucks, they had their fallout. I mean, hell, they were supposed to have a match. And I don't think that match ever happened because all we got was a damn brawl. So that being said, Young Bucks are probably looking for revenge from that. So what do you build up to basically after this? What comes out of this to build towards the next AEW Championship match with the fact that Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara have their intentions? I got to think about them in this storyline too. Bullet Club Gold rules Collision. FTR's prior Collision. So there's always going to be that constant try to sought after the tag team championships in loss or defeat. Then you have the Young Bucks and Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara that are no strangers to each other in history, and I'm sure they're going to butt heads towards maybe challenging for the AEW or tag team championships. So right now, it's either the Bucks or the Ass Boys that eat the fall for me. Well, considering we didn't get the Young Bucks versus the Ass Boys, and I do think the Young Bucks want to get a piece of that revenge, I wonder where the story tension really lies. And I do think there would be more tension, the Young Bucks questioning themselves as, are we still that great? As young as we used to be, can we carry on? I'm going to agree with you again here, Sully. I think that there's going to be a surprise moment here. We're going to see a miscommunication, and that will be the moment to attack, and Jay White knows how to do that. I think Bullet Club Gold will get the win once again, too. I agree with you. And again, I do think this will lead to FTR defending those titles again, but I just don't know against who at this point. And obviously, I feel like they're going to have to do something towards Grand Slam for these. But again, Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, they haven't faced FTR for these at all, or I don't think faced FTR in any capacity. I think Sammy Guevara and Jericho have also had history with the Young Bucks. I don't think they faced them, though, truly in tag team capacity. So that being said, yeah, I think Bullet Club Gold continues this escapade of Bucks. Can you still do it? Can you get back to the mountain? Where does the Elite stand? They all lose again at All Out. So yeah, I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go with Bullet Club Gold here. Not 100% confident, but we'll see what happens. All right. Let's go ahead and move things forward here to, oh, good freaking Lord Almighty. You're lucky I'm fucking tired, Laura, because I'd be ranting right now. Let's just go ahead and talk about the only women's title match on this card, because not only was these two not involved in, well, excuse me, Ruby Soho was at Wembley, Chris wasn't. You know what, now that I think about it, maybe I'll play devil's advocate. Maybe this being the only women's match, they'll give them a good amount of time and a good showcase, because these are two AEW standouts. You, of course, have the undefeated TBS champion Chris Statlander since the return in singles action, taking on the Outcast Ruby Soho. And as we know, King, it will be the Outcast in graphic as United Front in trios action once again against this time Chris Statlander, Hikaru Shida, Britt Baker, where tension has grown between Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida. I think Shida could honestly do heel turn. I could see Britt and Shida having a fallout grudge. But that being said, they're not on this card. Actually, that'd be a good grudge match for this card now that I think about it. But again, figure too far ahead. This Collision's live. Can't spoiler alert that. For me, I think Chris Statlander is going to retain. She's been on a hell of a run. She's definitely made this TBS Championship something to look at weekly on Collision and on Dynamite. And I think she's been a great champion. She's out to prove why you should respect this title and you should respect me. And since the return, she's been undefeated. Now, there is still that tension, of course, with Diamante and Mercedes Martinez, but she's essentially defended the gold against Mercedes Martinez. She's also defended successfully against other opponents, too. And I think Ruby Soho right now, with the Outcast fallout, she'll be the cog that just can't do it right now. And she'll have to reset once again. Why the Outcast literally things by hook or by crook? I can see the Outcast one last time with Ruby Soho, but tension about the World Championship, and particularly Toni Storm and Saraya, could cost Ruby Soho here a bit of forward booking to what I think might happen on Collision. I think simply Chris is going to retain with Saturday Night Fever because it's Mama's house and Mama is all right to see because everything's all right when Stat is on your screen because Stat's where it's at. Chris Statlander for the win. Your thoughts on this TBS Championship match?
She's more than a woman, and she's going to prove that she's more than a woman because basically she's like you just alluded to. She's still hot as TBS champion, and she's been showing that since she's been defending that title, whether that be on Dynamite or on Collision. And basically, she's had good title defenses, and of course, Ruby in the back of her mind of basically saving Saraya in this case, and preventing Tony of doing the hip attack on the turnbuckle at Allin, and then Ruby's mind of basically, okay, I'm going to have to play peacemaker in order to keep this stable, to keep this faction stabilized here. And plus on top of that, I have a TBS championship women's TBS championship match to look forward to, which she is no stranger to TBS championship opportunity because she was in the finals of the TBS championship tournament, which all know what that led to, and that got beat out by I'm not going to say it, but
we'll talk more about that later when details come forward because subtangent, another public simple announcement. What you read is not reality. You don't work for All Elite Wrestling. Worry about what you see on screen. Don't be super curious every bleeding damn second what happens off screen. Don't let two factors ruin 98 more reasons why you should appreciate wrestling, particularly AEW. Thank you. Please continue.
Exactly. So thank you for that. Of course, she's been wanting TBS championship gold. And once again, I don't think that's going to happen in Ruby Soho's case because she's got to deal with Tony and Saraya from going at each other's throats. So, like you alluded to, and like I alluded to, she's more than a woman. Stat retains that TBS championship. Oh, Tony, please get more women booked on this card, please. Saturday or Friday, make matches and out, please. Please.
He has a 0 hour to figure out, so maybe he could do something with
that. Yeah, see how he does. Yep, he does.
Just saying. All right. Well, that was pretty subtle and simple. Honestly, this might be the easiest match to call, and I kind of hate that it's like that.
Yeah.
Damn it. Sorry. Let's go ahead and talk about. Well, it feels like it should be easy, but damn, I'm not sure now. I'm debating myself because I love the passion. I love the fact that he only cares about this championship more than anything. And you and I talked about this title doesn't mean shit. It needs to be restored to prestige. So, King, let's just hope for it and see if we're right here. As Darby Allin once again regained the TNT Championship from Christian Sorry. Look who's holding the damn title on the graphic. Just saying. Anyway, go ahead, bro. Your thoughts.
This TNT Championship, once upon a time, was the most prestigious mid-card workhorse title since its inception in AEW. It has held by the likes of Cody Rhodes, the late great Mr. Brody Lee, Darby Allin, Miro. And then we decided to go downhill, and then we went uphill, and then we went downhill, and we went a little bit uphill, and then now we're back to downhill. Why are we still playing hot potato with this TNT championship? Why is one person calling himself a TNT champion even though he's never won it officially? Why are we treating the TNT championship like it's non-existent? Like, yeah, it's getting defended, but it's being held by the wrong person who is not even a champion officially in its AEW history's books.
Yep.
That one challenger also brought prestige to that TNT Championship. He even changed the straps in honor of Mr. Brody Lee at one point. And now here we are full circle. Darby, do us a favor. Beat Luchasaurus. Get back that TNT Championship and bring the prestige back to once it once was. Because I'm tired of this TNT Championship getting played like a hot potato. I'm tired of it. It's gotten to a point to where if we're talking mid-card titles in its men's division, the AEW International Championship is more prestigious than the TNT Championship.
Yep.
So Darby, do us all a favor. Get that TNT title back. Bring back those TNT Open challenges. Please. Bring it back to its prestige. I got Darby winning this. 100%.
Despite the fact his back might be 100% warped after going through a coffin lid twice with a coffin drop, reckless abandonment be damned. I agree with you at this point. Darby Allin right now, he literally is a guy that says he's made to be the TNT champion, and he wants to restore it back. He doesn't give a damn about any other title. Yes, he challenged for the world title. That was a one-time thing. But at the end of the day, the most important title to him has always been the TNT title. And when he lost it to Miro on his friggin' 10th defense, it broke him quite literally, emotionally more than physically, the first time. And why he is a two-time TNT champion, his second run was just an audible because he was going to do something else.
Yep.
And then, of course, we had, again, that crazy war with Samoa Joe. And then you had flip-flop, Control-C, Control-V 2 times over with him and Wardlow. Might add, Wardlow's been MIA since losing the TNT title. So that just goes to show, just saying. Yeah, at this point, if Darby Allin doesn't win the TNT championship, why does the title exist? I've got to go with Darby Allin here for the sake of a freaking mid-card division, not christened by the International Championship. Maybe this is Tony Khan's way of saying there's 2 mid-card titles. Go for this one instead. But still, this is your TV championship. Don't you think you should make it feel a bit more important? And if Darby Allin's willing to do that for the long haul, I say do it. And plus all the history we've been seeing unfold and unleashed and, basically read back by him and Swerve and AR Fox. Just saying, one of those 2 could very well be the guy that Darby Allin passes it off to. And with how many wars that Swerve and Darby has, that could be Swerve's way towards his first singles championship. Or Keith Lee. I'll take it or. I'm just saying.
Or.
But yeah, Darby Allin for the win. Please and thank you. Good night. Simple as that. All right. I really hope they don't fuck this up. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about, honestly, we just talked about the International Championship. I honestly thought that might be the main event because when you think about it, dude, you're absolutely right considering this title's prestige. I don't have a graphic for it, so fuck it. Let's go ahead and talk about this first because they don't have Sting as a semi-main event, but big men doing big meaty things, slapping meat, sounds like a big enough thing to me to be a semi-main event for we will see. It's the chapter of redemption in the Book of Hobbs. It's written at the humbling of a redeemer who will be redeemed, who will fall and face tragedy. You tell me why my voice sounds like a voiceover and I literally can barely speak. I digress. I'm trying. Powerhouse Hobbs 1-on-1 against Miro. Definition of a heavyweight slugfest. That's not quality TV. That's a pay-per-view level bout, to say the least. Let's freaking go.
Yep.
I'm torn on this. I don't know about you. I'm torn on this.
I am too, because Hobbs is on his rebuild back to being a Monstar that he's supposed to be, which I thought he'll have a longer reign as TNT champion, but I digress on that part.
Right.
Miro is also on a rebuilding path on his own as well. It is for his own self, trying to rebuild himself as the Redeemer. Come on, he no longer needs a god. He no longer needs his precious wife. He no longer needs none of that. But also on Hobbs' end, he's trying to write another chapter in the book of Hobbs. Redemption. Miro is the redeemer. And of course, he wants to redeem himself by getting wins and going after championship gold in his own right. Yeah, you're right, dude. I'm torn. I don't know who to go for because whoever the losing stick out of this whoever gets the losing stick out of this really kind of derails the momentum just about that much.
Right?
So really, Tony booked himself into a corner.
Would be the first time.
And not the last.
Yeah, I'm a little bit on the side of we saw the tease that Powerhouse was ready to rip the throat fatality out of QT Marshall, and then we had to go bracelet, and then we had the assault by Nick Camarada and Aaron Solo. But since his return, Miro has been unfreaking stoppable. And I do think right now you kind of did book yourself in a corner. There's no real right way to have a winner and a freaking loser here. Speaking of what? Well,
What?
you remember when I said they don't have this card fully booked?
No.
He just put the tag team match.
No. What?
The NWW Strong Openweight Champion Eddie Kingston and the Ring of Honor Pure Champion Katsuyori Shibata versus Ring of Honor World Champion Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. Well, that's a thing.
Whoa. Shibata on an AEW pay-per-view once again.
With Kingston as a tag partner.
They're
literally picking up where they left off at Supercard of Honor.
Exactly.
I'll save my thoughts more for that later. In other news, what the fuck? Ricky Starks is going to challenge to a strap match at All Out Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Collision.
Oh.
This pay-per-view is getting more bizarre by the second.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit worried about this show, to say the least.
I am too. Now, with that match added, I am too.
I'm going to watch it, but still. Good boy. Okay, well, folks, stay tuned for more on that. I'm sure that'll be heavily discussed on City Predicting, but yeah. So, let's see here. With a Yuta, he's a young boy. He's going to eat the fall, right? He's got to eat the fall.
Wheeler going to eat the fall. Either
There's
Kingston's
no way
get...
Shibata or Kingston get pinned by... Well, Claudio pinning Eddie Kingston, actually, that does continue that escapade. Claudio challenging Kingston for the title? I don't know.
No, I mean, no, I don't think so. I think either Shibata or Eddie get the pin on Wheeler. Maybe.
I mean, to be fair, though, Yuta did get advantage one time in a tag match. Oh, no, excuse me. We did see Shibata pinned by Daniel Garcia based to a miscue or, an advantage taken, and it led to a Ring of Honor Pure title match. Wheeler Yuta got schooled by Shibata. You know Wheeler Yuta wants another crack at him. This might be the way to lean towards the Ring of Honor Pure title match now. So, honestly, that match might go either way as well, not to go into a sub-tangent. So, it's something to think about. Yeah, as far as this goes, though, I think Miro needs this. Miro needs to continue to show why he is gutless. Needs to be redeemed. Like Hobbs, he needs to get away from QTV. Simply put, I'm gonna say that Miro wins here. And as far as the strap match, if this gets made official, you are setting yourself up for a friggin' disaster. This is not like Chris Jericho taking on Legends and oh god, it is actually like that.
It is actually like that. Exactly.
I'm going to leave that match alone for now until I see the angle on Collision to convince me
Same.
otherwise. I don't need to say how old Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is, because then again, if Sting could go, maybe Ricky can go too, but Ricky can, I don't know. I don't know about this, just saying, I don't know about this. Maybe a surprise signing shows up, I don't know. All right, well, that being said, we're basically almost done here. Let's go ahead and briefly talk about this. Let's talk about, again, the State of the National Championship, as Orange Cassidy finally squeezed out the last bit of his juice with that empowering ending segment promo. Who knew he could speak like that? As he defends the gold officially now against Jon Moxley. At this point, Orange Cassidy is the wrestler unlike anything else in the industry. He has proven what it means for him to do what he absolutely hates, but how much he values being the international champion and what that title means to him. As we saw him literally catch Penta in a crucifix to catch him just for a quick, shocking 3 counts. I still can't believe that happened. But he's beating everybody. Everybody needs to have an end point. If it's not Jon Moxley, who the fuck can be AEW International Champion at this point? If it's not Jon Moxley. Plus, Jon Moxley lost at All Out last year. He's due for a freaking win.
Nope.
And he's never been international champion.
Nope.
If he's not going to be involved in this tournament, this world tournament, and let's be honest, does he really need to be? Last year, he literally went into Grand Slam and won the damn freaking tournament. All right, he brought this company out of the dark. Let somebody else bring it to light. And if MJF is truly about being the guy to spearhead this company, let him be. Just pay him the money. As far as this goes, let's see what Jon Moxley can do with this internationally. I think Jon Moxley finally dethrones Orange Cassidy. I got a new champion.
31-1. Mox is one of the, like I told you on our watch along, and I'm going to say it again.
Go for it.
Mox is going to eat him alive. Orange Cassidy is battered, bruised, head to toe, like a medical examiner skeleton. Jon Moxley is going to expose every single body part of that man's body and will go to the lengths of pure garbage death jitsu in order to win this match. Either he wins via bulldog choke, or he wins with a paradigm shift. Either way, the era of the freshly squeezed era comes to an end Sunday night. And the Death Jitsu International era will begin. I got Moxley as the new champion.
That's fair enough. I mean, at this point, if Jon Moxley doesn't win, Orange Cassidy's going to pretty much go until he can't go no more, and you might as well stop his heart. Probably bad take. But I mean, at this point, but at this point, seriously, who could beat Orange Cassidy if Jon Moxley doesn't do it?
I got one in mind. I've been saying it.
Yep. Yeah, you have. You have.
I've been saying it, and they even showed a promo package on Twitter about him. The one El Toro Blanco Rush. If Moxley can't get it done on Sunday, Rush is looming nearby. There's been a reason why LFI has been getting rebuilt as of late. You don't think that man has played a part in that? With Jose the assistant doing the backing?
After that tirade on Collision over the phone, I think we knew who was playing, backstage politics for his group. And especially since he resigned too. So, I mean, and again, Tony Khan even said, yeah, I would love to do a show down in Mexico as a venue was suggested by MJF. So we'll have to wait and see. Either way, this AEW All Out pay-per-view is going to be mind-numbingly confusing, to say the least. You should
Yeah.
have booked it out 2 weeks. I get it. Contracts are contracts, but damn it, this show right here, bizarro world to the highest degree. Is it worth $50? No, I don't think so.
No, not at all.
If I didn't have it, I wouldn't do it. But I'm going to do it because there's a few matches I do care about. There's some good single bouts here that I can definitely appreciate. And then there's some other stuff that I'm like, why? And then it feels like a cluster Ring of Honor preview teaser.
Teaser for Final Battle, so to say. But even though Final
Which
Battle
won't be
is
till
like
December.
So it's like, why are we? I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't mind having Ring of Honor on a pay-per-view. Don't get it twisted.
Right.
We don't got no more Ring of Honor pay-per-views until December. But the way how Ring of Honor is booked, but mostly booked with this card itself, yeah, you're right, dude. You should have waited these 2 more weeks. But hopefully Tony learns that lesson for next year. Hopefully.
He did say you only get a second chance once. So as far as what's happened between this year time last year versus this time this year, and with Mother Nature and everything else playing factors, I say he's doing better, but there's still
just like I can't believe I'm saying this, and I can't believe I left it out, but I left it on purpose. If Ricky Steamboat and Ricky Starks is official, that was not supposed to be the planned match.
Guarantee you.
It was supposed to be Punk and Starks for the Real World Championship, but we all know what happened at All In. We're not going to talk about it here, but you all know what happened.
Yep, and again, subjective, innocent for proven guilty, journalistic integrity, blah blah blah. But I will leave us with this: I do promote Open Mic Night. That will be discussed. So stay tuned for more of that. Oh, that's an older one. Botch. I'm tired. That will be discussed. So stay tuned for more on that. So yeah. Either way, this pay-per-view is bizarre. I can't believe I'm saying this. Payback actually feels more normal, and they don't even have a Reigns on there.
But but once again, it's going to be up to that Chicago crowd to elevate the pay-per-view like what London did for All In. And if I can't believe I'm going to say this, but yeah, I agree with you. The Payback card is looking a little bit more normal than it is for AEW All Out.
And again, the Payback card, we got LA Knight taking on The Miz. Rey Mysterio defends the United States Championship against Austin Theory. Rhea Ripley defends the whatever you call title on Raw against Raquel Rodriguez. Hopefully this is like NXT levels. I don't even know what that Ferrero Rocher belt is at this point, dude. All right. I said what I said. I'm trying to remember the rest. Sorry.
Seth Rollins taking on Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh, yeah. Compromise back for the WWE Heavyweight Championship. We got Grayson Wilder effect with Cody Rhodes. Not a match, but a segment. Meh. And still cage match with Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus.
Which in the field. End it.
Please. Just please. And the WWE Blueberry Cherry Undisputed Tag Team Championships on the line as Damian Priest and Finn Balor take on Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
And finally on the card. It's about darn time.
I know, right? And then, of course, Rhea Ripley said, you guys better win, or there may be some changes coming to the Judgment Day. Will we finally see this fucking group break up?
Oh, I have a prediction, an early one. They ain't gonna break up. One of the members gonna get kicked out. how that happens, a certain Irish ace has played his factor in all of this.
Pull it out of his sleeve. Yes, the student of one Finn Balor. If we all remember their last and only ever one-on-one encounter in WWE at NXT UK Takeover at Blackpool,
Cool.
surprisingly, and it was teacher that beat the student. Has the student surpassed the teacher? Just saying.
Yep.
And Damian Priest still with that Money in the Bank briefcase. Again, we've been asking ourselves, will Damian Priest cash in at Payback? I say
And
no. But I do think he cashes in before the end of the year, if I'm perfectly honest with you.
because he even told Finn Balor in that backstage segment, I always will win gold because I have this.
Exactly. Damian Priest don't need this win. Finn Balor does. And honestly, that might be the biggest story this weekend. So stay tuned for more on that, folks. That being said, thank you for tuning in once again to another very simple, yet we still do our thing, ATW VIEW Impromptu, as we do here and talk about all things wrestling in a tired state. Before we bid you adieu, King, any last thoughts regarding all things wrestling? Where can people find you?
This is gonna be a weird, bizarre weekend.
Yeah.
Chicago, you're gonna have to bring it because this pay per view, like there's a few good matches. Some of them are in Bizarro world. So Chicago is up to you, especially y'all in. You're saying y'all in the United Center where the Bulls play, but nonetheless,
I'll bet you wear that.
exactly. So as you can see on your screen, that's where you can follow me on my Twitter. I normally say it all the time, but since I'm glad StreamYard does that, you can see it right there. That's where you're gonna follow me mostly on Twitter.
Peter. There you
I'm
go.
not calling it X. X is just this.
And look, and the alphabet suffers enough when people can't spell words, let alone text them, and they have to create words to rhyme. I'm just saying, X has suffered enough. Look at him. Look at him. He's so sad. He's got to speak on behalf of all this nonsense.
Y'all
X gonna
can't
give it to you at some point, folks. He's not giving it to you here tonight, but trust
No,
me.
or not. No, rest in peace, DMX. I'm dead. Rest in peace, DMX. I can't believe you were using a song like that.
Damn. Good throwback, though. And again, folks, speaking of tuning in to VIEW Impromptu, please follow the Renegade JJ Williams as me and him will cover Payback. Follow James Hebert at JHebert95. Follow FTW Productions. And of course, follow the continued coverage of their thoughts and all things All Elite Wrestling on the weekly forum ATW Spark. Follow me and the entire ATW crew and family. You know what to do. You can find me on the Twitter and on YouTube and Foster1916 for all things wrestling. Shout out, of course, the entire ATW family, whether it's Megan, Casey, you, despite his nature, hey, family's family. Indigo, take care, bro. Cindy, Megan, JD, Kat, the family expands. Lex, it goes on and on and on. Again, like I said earlier, please follow Mary Jade on all the social medias. Follow Eric into the Wrestleverse and his takes on all things wrestling, blurring lines between wrestling and Marvel and comics and all type of other stuff too, while having his own critical takes on the world around us and the lack of comprehensive understanding, which will never be fully understood either. Don't stress out your mind, bro. Follow me on Twitter, all the prediction links, all the updates. You know what to do. And Foster1916. Follow the YouTube for you give your simple assessments and stay tuned for videos that go live or on demand. And check out the entire ATW VIEW playlist as we've been doing this thing since the family established in 2020 during the pandemic. And we're not laying up anytime soon, just like professional wrestling isn't. But our voices are about to let up, so I'm going to bid you a fine adieu. Follow the newest affiliate of the Jumping Up Voices of me at Tilla. Stay tuned for more City Predicting. Stay tuned for Simple Takes. There'll be a double take on AEW All In and All Out. It should be very interesting with me, JJ, and potentially James. And we're also going to do Simple Takes on WWE Payback, NWA Fastlane. Fucking stupid, nonsensical PLE in the fall. Dumbass decision, but I digress. Check out the last episode of Open Mic Night if you haven't had a chance already. We covered this and so much more. And stay tuned for this week's Open Mic Night, as I think it's either the season finale or prior to the season finale. I'm not entirely sure. Stay tuned for City Predicting. Again, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Friday night. We will discuss Payback. And I believe 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time we'll be discussing AEW All Out and whatever sanity we have left. And then you'll see an updated block of 8 of the next City Predictings and the next Championship Network live auction events. The next live watch event will be for WWE Payback that occurs this Saturday night, so stay tuned for more on that. And we will be covering AEW All Out, although, again, I don't know how I feel about it right now. We'll see what they can try and do in Chicago without one particular person, but I know the chants are going to run wild too. But as always, I conclude, yeah, King, stay prepared for that. And remember, prepare what I say here. Folks, there are no winners, there are no losers, there are no betters. Just fans with opinions for this passion we all share. And at the end of the day, folks, support one another. Respect each other. Definitely this weekend. Protect your mentality, too. Treasure your families and just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. It is truly as simple as that. And with that being said, thank you so much once again for tuning in to a simple yet extended edition, as always we do. ATW VIEW Impromptu. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Hit the bell. This video is live on demand on this channel and the YouTube channels. Hit the subscribe button. Keep in tune. I assure you our creative passion, our coverage, our fandom of the industry is not leaving anytime soon. Social media use very well might, though, because, again, that world can destroy you. Just take it from anybody that's worked out of the industry or been a fan. So, again, don't try and find yourself need to be connected to everything, let alone believe everything you read. Just saying. On behalf of the entire AEW family, on behalf of King, thank you once again for tuning in to another AEW VIEW Impromptu. Until next time, we'll see you, if we still have voices and brains. We'll see you after AEW All Out to see what's next in all things wrestling. Until then, as always, make a positive impact in life and have a good night, for we are ATW, as we look at and encompass and embrace and discuss and rant and criticize Joya and all things wrestling too. Have a good night, folks. I had to do it one more time, King. Why? I still had a voice. I had to do it one more time. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Ashton Denhausen says, follow ATW or be cursed.
Bye.
And don't join the House of Ass. Seriously. What? Oh my God. Why?
But you
Why?
come Cesar my temper.
Unless your name's Julia Harks, you don't have a thing down there, just like the bunny doesn't. Yay, Allie.
Uh,
All right, I'm hitting the plug on this. Shut it, King. Shut it. Hey, Allie.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah,